Side quests have existed for almost as long as video games themselves, but only in recent years have they stepped into a kind of spotlight. Ironically, by standing outside the spotlight of the main quest. They used to be seen as filler, distractions, extra content to pad out playtime or offer rewards. But as games grew more ambitious in world building and more complex in emotion, a strange inversion happened. The optional content, the seemingly inconsequential moments in the margins, began to hold more emotional resonance than the epic storyline meant to represent the core experience. The dominance of side quests in contemporary gaming reveals something profound. The players today seek connection over completion, meaning over momentum, and authenticity over spectacle. Side quests embody the idea that stories are not simply about what happens, they're about what we choose to pay attention to. And in that choice lies the philosophy of side quests, a philosophy of wondering, noticing, caring, and embracing the quiet truth that the most memorable parts of a world are often the ones we're never required to see. Main quests are built like machines. They have structure, direction, stakes, and an internal pressure that keeps players moving forward. Their job is to tell the grand story, whether that's the fate of kingdoms, the rise of darkness, the fall of tyrants, or the awakening of some ancient threat. They hit emotional beats, but they rarely linger. They are designed for clarity and pacing, because they have to be. But precisely because the main quest follows necessity, it struggles to portray the ordinary texture of life. Worlds become symbols rather than places, backdrops rather than homes. None of this fits easily into the main story. This is where side quests thrive. They inhabit the spaces the main quest doesn't have time to touch. Side quests let the world breathe. They show small acts of kindness that matter only to one person. They show humor that has nothing to do with fighting monsters. They reveal fears that will never decide the fate of the world, but they still shape the fate of individuals. In these optional moments, the world stops pretending to be a stage for the hero's journey and becomes something more honest, a place full of people with lives of their own. When players help someone with a personal problem, or spend time retrieving something insignificant, or even get caught in a moment of unexpected gentleness, they feel the world deepen. They understand it not as a map full of objectives, but as a breathing culture with private struggles, specific desires, small joys the main story would overlook. Side quests embody the truth that real worlds, fictional or not, are not made of epic events, but of the countless small lives caught beneath them. The hero may save the world, but side quests remind us who the world actually belongs to. What makes side quests philosophically compelling is that they are optional. They sit in the corner of the screen, unlit, untouched, waiting for the player to decide whether their time, curiosity, or empathy will lead them there. This simple fact transforms side quests into a kind of test, not a mechanical challenge, but an ethical and an emotional one. Unlike the main quest, which commands engagement, side quests invite engagement. The player has to choose to step toward someone who needs help rather than toward the object marker glowing in the distance. They have to choose to listen to a stranger's concerns, even when the world's fate is supposedly at stake. They have to choose to invest in stories that offer no promise of power or advancement. This choice reveals how the player sees the world. Some will chase the critical path, valuing efficiency and accomplishment. Others will become caretakers, wanderers, helpers, or listeners, investing themselves in people who could easily be ignored. And this is where the side quests transform storytelling. They don't simply show the world, they reflect the player. Do you help someone who cannot reward you? Do you engage with stories that don't benefit your character? Do you stop to observe a life that exists without you? In the main quest, every action is required. In side quests, every action is chosen. That choice becomes a statement of who the player is inside the world, not just who the character is. Most importantly, because side quests aren't about necessity, they can offer emotional truths the main quest cannot. Player may run past danger for hours without blinking, but stop in their tracks for a simple request, a vulnerable confession, or a moment of shared humanity. The optional becomes meaningful because the player's investment transforms it. Fiction becomes personal not when it commands attention, but when we choose to give attention freely. Side quests also reshape how we understand completion. The traditional model says that a game is finished when the main story ends, when the final boss falls and the credits roll. But in practice, that moment is rarely the emotional endpoint of the experience. For many players, the feeling of completion comes from a side quest that touched them deeply, or a connection they formed in an optional storyline, or maybe even a private moment of exploration that had nothing to do with the plot. Side quests create personal journeys inside larger narratives. Two players may share the same main ending, but the worlds they carry with them afterward are entirely different based on what side paths they followed. One player's experience might feel hopeful, filled with stories of rebuilding and compassion. Another's might feel lonely or sorrowful because they bypassed the moments that revealed warmth behind the world's hardships. In this way, side quests allow players to author the meaning of the world. They choose which stories matter, which lives they engage with, and which emotional tones define their experience. Completion becomes less about conquering and more about understanding. It becomes about reaching a personal sense of closure, not because the plot concludes, but because the player feels that they have seen enough of the world's truths. This reflects real life. Our lives aren't defined by one climactic event, but by the countless small stories that surround us. The moments we notice, the people we help, the detours we take, the things we choose to care about. Side quests mirror this rhythm. They reveal that meaning often exists outside the main path, that the world is not only shaped by its monumental events, but by its quiet corners. In the end, the philosophy of side quests is a philosophy of attention. Meaning is found in the places we are not required to look. Stories come alive when we choose them, not when they are assigned to us. And the truth of a world often lies not in its destiny, but in its details. Side quests may have begun as extras, but they have become the emotional anchor of modern gaming because they understand something the main quest never could. That the soul of a world is rarely found in its battles, but in its quiet moments. They show us the stories that happen when the hero isn't watching, the small struggles, small joys, and small lives that make a place feel real. They reveal who we are based on what we choose to notice. They challenge the idea that stories must be monumental to matter, and they remind us that in games, as in life, the most meaningful experiences are often the ones we find off to the side, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone willing to care. Hey, thank you as always for watching the video. I truly appreciate you being here, taking some time out of your day to spend it with me on this channel. If you're new here, maybe think about going down, hitting that subscribe button, the like button, and ringing that notification bell if you want more videos like this in the future. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.